So it's a bit of a quick video. As you know, I'd done these about a year and a half ago, but they haven't lasted very well. So I'm going to take them both off now, and this time we're going to wet and dry them, or wet sandpaper them with fine sandpaper, and we're going to lacquer them this time with a paint lacquer. See how it works. That's the one I've just taken off. As you can see, it's got quite bad markings on here. I'm going to have to sandpaper all that off, or wet it, or wet sandpaper it off. I don't know if you can see it, but it's quite poor in terms of, it's got a lot of scratches. The last one I did hasn't worked out too well. So with a quick wet and dry, 400 first, and then a 2500 paper with water on. That's the first coat of lacquer just gone on. So I'm pretty happy with that. It's not too bad at all. I'll show you how I've done it very briefly in a sec. So with a 400, as you can see these marks along here, they're particularly deep, and of course there's some pitting going all the way down the bottom of the lights here. There's very deep, which will need a good 400 rub. And start doing that very gently, especially over the barred areas. So you're going to blend in the whole lens together. That's the idea. Make sure the whole lens is even and no blemishes. You can see it's starting to come off now, so very slowly. A lot of this is being faded by the sun as well with UV rays. So you want to take that back. See the pitting and the scratches along here, especially quite deep. So you've got to get that back to flat again. And it doesn't take a lot of doing. See, there's still a little bit of a blemish there. Rub over it. It's certainly starting to go. It looks a lot better. There's a line across here as well. Start working on that. Make sure you don't work too long in one position or in one direction. Make sure you get all the markings out, but change and swap direction. Make sure you get it nice and flat. You don't want any grooves, you don't want any deep pitted areas. I've gone down the side there with the 400. I'm just going to keep working on the rest of the light. The two lenses, obviously it's got to be nice and clear, so you're going to have to work quite hard to get all those blemishes off, especially if your lens is as old as mine. And these are old lenses, it's original, so I want to try and keep them a bit longer, definitely. This is the rough sandpaper, so this gets the worst off. Then we'll go over with a bit wet and dry on the 2500 grit. You see there's still a little blemish on there. I don't know if that goes a bit deeper. Looks like it does. I'm hoping the lacquer will take that off. And you'd say don't get too worried. Obviously you get up this that's what you end up with, a very grainy finish. There's a little bit on there. Just need cleansing a bit more. Wet and dry will really smooth it off at the end. So that's after the 400 grit. You see it's quite grainy, quite cloudy, and that's always worrying when you get to that point. Of course, when you get to the 2.5 and the water, which I'll show you now. This is the 2.5. So I just bought a Halfords one. It's a Halfords 2,500 grit fine, and I started off with the 400 of course, which is a little bit harsher but not too harsh to cause deep scratching. This is one I used on the other one. So you dip it in a bit of water and use it nice and finely, nice and lightly at first. I don't see why. It's just you need taking some of those deeper scratches out from the 400. Give it plenty of water, don't let it go dry. And you can see already with a bit of water on it, gets you don't do too little on this either, because this is the finish, so this is what it makes look really good afterwards. So make sure you give it a good and get into all the edges where the other sandpaper got. This is the 2.5 now with water. After finishing the 2,500 grit and washing it down with a bit more fresh water, I'm just going to rub off all the excess, make sure the excess plastic we rubbed off is not on there before we spray it. As you can see, it's still so cloudy obviously. I've got to get that nice and dry before we do any spraying. So that's the one I just dried and it's airing out a bit before I go onto it. And the other one I've given 2 coats to. You can see the difference from that to that, and that's got another coat going on it now. I'm pretty pleased with it. Just hope it lasts longer than the last procedure we did, which only lasted about 1.5 years. We'll see how it goes. I'll show you how to spray it now. This is what I bought. U-Pole Power Can, clear coat, and professional spray paint, it says. Bought it on eBay, I think, or not sure. I think I bought it on eBay. Obviously you've got to give that a good shake, good 2 minutes minimum. Make sure you get the best out of it. And firstly, a very light coat. Test the nozzle. Yeah. Straight lines. That's it for the first one. Let that stick. Give it something to stick to. And then back again for another one in about 10 minutes. Lights, and if it's a wet or dry day, it doesn't make a difference. So as you can see, I've got a bit of a patio heater, and what I do, as soon as I spray them, I dry them, make sure they stay nice and dry, and it dries quick, because if there's too much moisture in the air, not too close obviously, but enough to get any moisture off that lens. And good idea just to give it a little bit of a warm first. Good start if it's warm, and then you get a guaranteed surface really. I think the issue is if it's wet out there, it can haze up. They can go white if you're not careful. As you can see, these have turned out really well with the lacquer. I'm really happy with them. And that's the end result. Looks a little bit cleaner.